Hi, and welcome to this week's Tuesday 2x2. I'm Karen Walker. I'm a consultant, author, speaker, and each week I record a short 2-minute video to explain a 2x2. A 2x2 is simply a graph that takes two concepts and opposes them and leads to a chart with 4 quadrants. Often, but not always, the upper right is the place you want to be. It's what Gartner Research calls the Magic Quadrant. And that'll be the case with our 2x2 today. So today we're going to look at these two concepts. We'll look at conflict, so whether there's a lot of conflict in the organization or very little conflict, and we're going to oppose that with the amount of social capital in the system. And by social capital, I mean sort of the depth and the value of the relationships that exist in the system. And I want to also say that having no conflict in a system is often just a perception of no conflict. There is conflict, right? It's just part of our daily interactions with other people. And so we should always expect that there is conflict. It's just that sometimes we don't recognize it or don't pay attention to it. So let's get to the 2x2. So if we start in the bottom left-hand quadrant, this is what I call the checked out area. So this is a place of low conflict and low social capital. So in this case, what we basically have is avoidance and detachment. People are not invested enough in the situation or in the organization to form social capital, or maybe it hasn't been encouraged for them to do so, and the conflicts that are there are not recognized, so you don't see any effort going into resolving conflict. Now in the upper left-hand quadrant, it's a box I call My Way. It could be my way or the highway, actually. So this is a place where you want to pay attention to mutiny, because in my way we have high conflict and low social capital. And so that is often a place where one person is telling the organization what to do. And no one likes to be told what to do all the time with regard to solving conflict or anything else. You also want to pay attention for wrong turns here, because no one person knows the answers to all the questions and all the issues and all the conflicts that come up. And so if you're the person making all the decisions, be really aware that some of those decisions are not going to be the best decisions, or in some cases good decisions, and the organization might take a wrong turn. Now in the bottom right-hand quadrant, something I call the preemptive space. So in this space you have high social capital, so you have a lot of goodwill, but low conflict. And so you want to keep your antenna up and really watch for unresolved issues, right? There's definitely a wanting to resolve issues because social capital is so high. People want to get along and have the place feel good, and I want to really pay attention to each other. But if conflicts are not coming up, they will eventually sort of rear their ugly head and demand to be resolved. So you can preemptively solve things because of the goodwill, but watch for unresolved issues. And then in the upper right-hand quadrant, I think about this as in the mix. So this is a place with high social capital and high conflict. And so typically this is a pretty healthy place. This is a place where issues come up, they're recognized, they're dealt with, they are really good issues because of the depth of the relationships to resolve the conflicts that come up. You also have sort of like extra tools in your toolbox to resolve conflict because of this social capital in the system. And so if you can get your organization to move to this place where one person is not making all the decisions, where conflicts are recognized, and where there is the social capital and the goodwill in the system to deal with things as they come up, you can almost always deal with conflicts where they're small, and not have to deal with big explosions as you would in some of the other quadrants here. So I hope this has been useful. My name again is Karen Walker. You can find me at Karen Walker US or on my website at www.karenwalker.us. I would love to hear from you how this has played out in your organizations or your lives. I think resolving conflict is one of the things that managers and leaders will be well rewarded for paying attention to. Because when you have unresolved conflict in your organization, all kinds of bad things happen from that, the least of which is inefficiency and a loss of productivity. Hope to see you next week for our Tuesday 2x2. Thanks.